The first thing I noticed was how quiet Christmas Eve felt this year. Not the peaceful kind. The wrong kind. I live in a small suburban neighborhood in the Midwest. Nothing fancy. 2-story houses, short driveways, trimmed lawns. The kind of place where Christmas usually feels loud, kids yelling, music playing, inflatable decorations humming all night. This year it felt muted. I got home around 8:30 p.m., arms full of grocery bags, breath fogging in the cold. Snow had fallen earlier, not much, just enough to coat the sidewalks and make everything glow under the streetlights. Every house on the block was lit up. Christmas lights everywhere, red, green, white, blinking, steady, soft. It looked perfect, too perfect. I unlocked my door and stepped inside, kicking off my boots. I remember thinking how nice it was to finally slow down. No work tomorrow, no plans, just a quiet Christmas Eve alone. I made myself some food, turned on the TV, and let one of those old Christmas movies play in the background. The kind you don't really watch. Around 9:15, the power flickered. Just once. The TV stayed on, but the lights dimmed for a second. I glanced toward the window out of habit. That's when I noticed something strange. Every house across the street was dark. Not gradually, not one by one, all at once. Christmas lights off, interior lights off, porches dark, like someone had flipped a single switch for the entire block. Except my house. Mine was still lit. I stood there for a moment, remote in hand, listening. No hum of decorations, no distant music, no voices, just wind moving through bare trees. I told myself it was probably a transformer. Maybe my side of the grid was different. Stuff like that happens. Still, I walked to the window and looked down the street. Same thing. Every house dark. At the far end of the block, the streetlight flickered, then steadied. Its orange glow reflected off the snow, making the darkness feel even deeper. I checked my phone. No alerts. No outage notice. At 9:32 p.m., my Christmas lights turned off. I didn't touch the switch. They just went dark. I frowned and walked to the front door. The switch panel was exactly how I'd left it. I flipped the lights back on. Nothing happened. Then slowly, one by one, the lights across the street came back on. Perfectly synchronized. Red, green, white, blinking in the same pattern. Mine stayed off. I felt a knot form in my stomach. That's when someone knocked on my door. 3 slow knocks. I didn't answer right away. Nobody ever knocked on Christmas Eve. If neighbors needed something, they texted, and whoever it was hadn't rung the bell. I moved closer and asked, "Yeah?" A man's voice answered from the other side. "Hey, just wanted to make sure your lights were off." I froze. "What?" There was a pause. Then the man said calmly, "Everyone turns them off at the same time." "I didn't get that memo," I said. Another pause. Longer. "You should turn them off," he said again. "It's almost time." "For what?" No answer. I looked through the peephole. The porch was empty. No footprints in the snow. I stepped back, heart racing, and locked the door, even though it already was. I went to the back of the house and peeked through the window. Every house on the block was lit again, except mine. I pulled my phone out and texted my neighbor, Mark. "Hey, quick question. Did everyone's power go out just now?" The message showed as delivered. No reply. I texted another neighbor, then another. Nothing. At 10:02 p.m. exactly, all the Christmas lights shut off again. This time including mine. The entire street went dark. At once. I stood in my living room, surrounded by silence so thick it felt like pressure. The TV cut to black. My phone screen dimmed, then lit up again, still working. The streetlight at the end of the block turned off. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Not running. Not sneaking. Just walking. Slowly. Outside. I crept to the window and pulled the curtain back an inch. People were standing in their driveways. Every house. Men, women, kids. All facing the street. All perfectly still. I couldn't see their faces clearly in the darkness, but I didn't need to. The way they stood straight, expectant, made my skin crawl. Then together they turned their heads. Toward my house. My phone buzzed. A text message. "Unknown number. It's your turn." My chest tightened. I typed back without thinking. "Me, turn for what?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Unknown number. Lights on means someone's awake. I backed away from the window. Another knock came at the door. 3 slow knocks. Same rhythm as before. I didn't respond. The voice spoke again, softer this time. You don't want to miss it. It only happens once a year. I grabbed my coat and keys, panic rising. I wasn't staying here. I didn't care how cold it was. I opened the door. The street was empty. No people. No movement. Every house dark. Snow untouched. Except for one thing. Fresh footprints leading from the sidewalk. Straight to my door. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Midnight is close. I slammed the door shut and locked it. At 11:58 p.m., every light in my house turned on. Every single one. Even rooms I never used. I ran from switch to switch. Nothing worked. The front porch light came on. Bright. Inviting. I heard voices now, soft, cheerful, like a distant crowd. Christmas carols. Sung slightly off-key. Coming from outside. I looked through the window again. The street was full. The knocking didn't stop. It didn't get louder either. That was the worst part. It stayed perfectly even. Measured. Patient. Every door in the house. Front door. Back door. Bedroom door. Bathroom door. Even the closet. Knock. Pause. Knock. Pause. All in the same rhythm. Like they were counting together. I stood frozen in the middle of the living room, surrounded by light that didn't feel warm at all. The Christmas decorations I'd put up earlier, just a small tree. A strand of lights along the wall looked wrong now. Too bright, too sharp. My phone slipped from my hand and hit the floor. I didn't pick it up. Outside, the singing stopped. The silence that replaced it was worse than the noise. Then someone spoke, not yelling, not close, somewhere outside in the crowd. Open the door, a woman's voice said gently. It's Christmas. The knocking stopped all at once. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might pass out. I backed away until my legs hit the couch and I sat down hard, still staring at the front door. I didn't agree to this, I said out loud, my voice shaking. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the porch light flickered, and a new sound filled the house. Movement. Not footsteps. Shuffling, like dozens of people slowly repositioning themselves. My phone buzzed again. I forced myself to look. No caller ID, no number. Just a message. You left your lights on. I shook my head. I turned them off. Another buzz. Not tonight. I thought about every Christmas I'd spent here. Every year I'd watch the neighborhood light up, feeling vaguely comforted by it. I'd never really talked to most of these people. We waved, we nodded. We kept to ourselves. I wondered how long they'd been watching me. The front door handle turned. Slowly. It didn't open. Just tested. The voice from earlier spoke again, closer now. We're not here to hurt you. Another voice joined in. Then another. Different ages, different tones. All calm, all patient. We just don't want you to be alone. The hallway lights flickered. In the reflection of the TV screen, I saw movement behind me. Figures standing just out of sight. Watching. I spun around. Nothing. The knocking started again, this time from the walls. Not the doors. The walls. Soft taps spreading outward like fingers exploring the space. I ran for the bedroom and slammed the door shut, locking it. The tapping followed, surrounding the room, closing in. I pressed my back against the door, sliding down until I was sitting on the floor. Please, I whispered. Just leave me alone. For the first time, someone laughed. Not cruel, almost sad. You still don't get it, a man said. This is how we leave. The tapping stopped. The house went quiet again. I waited. Seconds passed. Then minutes. Nothing moved. I slowly stood up and opened the bedroom door. The hallway was empty. The lights were back to normal. The front door stood closed, untouched. I walked to the window, my body trembling, and looked outside. The street was empty again. No crowd. No neighbors. No footprints. Just snow and darkness. I let out a shaky breath, convincing myself it was over. That whatever it was had passed. Then I noticed something small. All the houses on the block were dark, except mine. My phone buzzed for the last time that night. Thank you for staying awake. I didn't sleep. When morning came, the street looked normal again. Neighbors waved. Kids played with new toys. Cars pulled out of driveways like nothing had happened. No one mentioned the lights. No one mentioned the knocking. I tried asking Mark later that week if he'd noticed anything strange. He frowned. What do you mean? Christmas night, I said. The lights. Everyone outside. He laughed awkwardly. Man, I was asleep by 10. I moved out 2 months later. Different town. Different street. This year I didn't put up any lights. At 11:59 p.m. on Christmas Eve, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Still awake. Outside my new place, down the block, Christmas lights flickered on. One house at a time, perfectly synchronized. And somewhere nearby, someone knocked.